everyone, back with distributive property. Distributive property is really just multiplication. It's a quick way of saying if I say I'm going to give 2 pieces of candy to Sarah and 2 pieces of candy to Johnny and 2 pieces of candy to Evan and 2 pieces of candy to Alexander. Instead of doing that, I could say I'm just going to give 2 pieces of candy to all of you. It's faster. So this is just a quicker way of writing. I'm going to multiply all of this by 5. Or I could say I'm going to multiply x by 5. I'm going to multiply -7 by 5. So this is just a quick way of saying it. To simplify it though, we have to do it the long way. So we have to go ahead and say 5 times x and 5 times -x. And in this case, that would be 5x, and multiplying both of these would give us -35. Okay, so to simplify something, you can't have things left in groupings. For number 2, we are distributing the -4. Remember, the negative goes along with 4 because that is one term. So we're going to distribute the -4. And a negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, and we have an A. Negative times a negative is going to give us a positive, and 4 times 1 is 4. And we can't combine those because they're not like terms. Okay, so moving on to number 3, we have to distribute -2/5 to both of these numbers. So a negative times a positive is a negative. Now don't let these scare you. If they scare you, just go ahead and write them off to the side. Once you write them off to the side, this is nothing more than 5th grade math. You did these in 5th grade. I like to simplify my fractions before I multiply because they're not always easy to simplify at the end. So I see that a 10 and a 5 are both divisible by 5 because you need one numerator and one denominator. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. And I can't simplify anything else, which means when I multiply, I know my answer will be in simplest form. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 3 is 3. So that'll be 4/3, and then let's not forget our x. And then negative times negative will be a positive. Again, I'm just going to write that over here. So we have 2/5 times 5. Because I'm doing fractions, sometimes I like to see them over a 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply those. 2 times 1 is 2. And since the bottom is 1 times 1, I don't need to put it on the bottom because we wouldn't write a 2 with a 1 underneath it in standard form, okay? Just write our 2 over here. There are shorter ways that you can do this by crossing off here. I just want to make sure you're doing it a way that you're comfortable and that you understand. And if that means coming over here and doing it a little bit longer, if you understand the logic, then just go ahead and stick with it. It doesn't matter if it takes you a few more seconds, okay? So over here, we're distributing, I like to just say we're distributing a negative. It's technically a -1, but distributing a negative is easy. If you multiply by 1, anything times 1 is itself, and anything times a -1 is just going to change its sign. So multiplying by -1 will change the x into a -x and a +3 into a -3. And that's all we have to do. All right, and last one here, we have s just being distributed to both the r and the 3. So s times r is sr, and we have a negative. S times 3 is 3s. Now, a couple things to remember here. When I came over here, I didn't put the s first because we would put the number in front of the variable because we call it the coefficient. Now right here, technically this isn't in standard form because if I have 2 variables and they both have the same degree, then I would line them up alphabetically. Okay, so r comes before s, and that would be -3s, and that would be in standard form, okay? And last, we're going to distribute an x. So x times 3y is going to be 3x x, y, notice I put them in alphabetical order, minus, because a positive times a negative is a negative, and that will be 2xz. I like to put a little line by my z so I can tell the difference between a 2 and a z. And x times 9 will give us 9x. Final answer. Okay, that's it, you guys. Thanks for joining me.